Hello, Internet. Welcome to day 4 of 365. A day in the life of a Christian. Yeah, today is the first Sunday of 2026. Today... Actually, if I want to talk about today, I think the first thing I want to talk about is how do you regain control of your life by also relinquishing control? Because in some respects, today's message was all about that. Ask, seek, knock. Be constant relationship, talking to God. And one of the things he talked about this year, because with this year, our church theme being take heart, trust God, and move forward, and learn how to relax in him and talk to him. I found it funny because he brought up New Year's resolutions, and I thought about this. The idea behind this was to reclaim a measure of control because my life felt like it was out of control. And I just started laughing because I was like, God, so are you telling me I should stop this? Is this a bad idea to be sharing publicly, but also semi-anonymously about my life? Because I want to be truthful. I want to be as truthful as I can in this public forum without divulging anything that is like too... Because we live in that time. We live in a time that is stranger than fiction. Like, truth is stranger than fiction. This, like, right now is that time. In some respects, it doesn't seem like... I don't feel like time has passed, but we live in a time now where stuff is happening where you're like, what? Case in point, the big news, actual real life outside of my little sphere is the Venezuelan president stuff. I don't know enough about it, but from what I read, it's bizarre. We live in a world that's so bizarre. As I mentioned yesterday, I've been having a Stargate SG1 and Stargate Atlantis marathon, and Stargate came out to 1987 to 2007, and this was season 9-10. So this was 2007, which is almost 20 years ago. Insane. 19 years ago. 19 years ago, there was an episode about a global pandemic, a global plague that came out. I mean, obviously it's sci-fi, so there's an alien incursion, but it like spread rapidly. And obviously COVID was that. And I mean, there have been other media where it's about the pandemic and things that we fear, and there's a certain case to be made about stuff like this becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. The truth is stranger than fiction. And my one sentence review of what's going on now, of the world I live in now, is it's the end times, and we just gotta pray. The other thing that I've been thinking about as a Christian is, if I want to be truthful, again, as truthful as I can be of the course of the day without being like pinpoint accurate, if I am talking about a real fear as a sci-fi fantasy person, there is a legitimate fear that if I, even now, as I am putting more information out there, for some weird creep to say, learn this. And I think about it. If I do even relatively 10-15 minutes of just talking in my voice without any filter, without any censorship, I'm giving information for someone to make a model of me. Now, I know it's very egotistical. Who would want to make a model of me? But there's something to be said. And like, as I say this, I'm thinking about it. It's 1,000 years from now, if I have the most complete record of myself, because AI does happen, right? Machine learning, I could give it enough information and you could create an AI version of me. But 1,000 years from now, like somehow out of everything, because I did this consistently, I become an AI, like It's bizarre to think about. It's true. So, why do you do it? I don't know. Why should I do it? I think I need to let go of like the 365, let's make it perfect. I am going to do my best to do so because in the 4 days I've done this, there's been a therapeutic sense to it. There's been I guess this peace that comes from just being this vulnerable to the internet, to the world, to surrendering myself to the potential, because so far no one viewed it, and I'm not gonna pretend like anyone will view it. But again, this is my own private corner of the internet, but the internet anyone can see. Anyone can potentially step into this madness, step into this very personal but very public vlog. The one thing I'm enjoying doing this is I'm enjoying the process of my mind. Like, it's a quote, it's important, or like a scientific theory of like, in the act of recognizing that you're being observed, it changes parameters. So before I was doing this, before I was tracking every moment, my life, I was making decisions differently. But now that I know that I'm recording this and I have something to talk about, like, I'm asking, because I'm trying to be as natural as possible, integrate this as natural as possible. But I also wonder, should I wait? Like, what does the end of my day look like? Should I go to as close to like midnight so I could publish at midnight and then I have the most data from the day? Or should I stick to a certain time where with processing, editing, or anything, it's to do relatively around the same like 7-8 o'clock time period? Because in some manner speaking, my day is done. Like, I've done church, I went to my nephew's birthday party, I have some chores to do here and there, but I should be winding down my day. So this is a good time to do it. But I also felt like I didn't really have anything to talk about, and yet after I hit upload, my fire alarm went off. I set off the fire alarm because I forgot to turn on the vent when I was making samgyeopsal, and it was like hilarious and embarrassing because I'm supposed to be trying to lose weight, not just because it's the new year, but because I have to be healthier. And I'm making pork belly, and it was just hilarious. And in my mind, one of the first things that I thought was, this was such good material for this content that no one's gonna watch but me, and I missed it because I missed the deadline. So I'm talking about it now, but now I'm thinking about in the terms of being observed, being recorded, telling the story. What is honesty? What is truth? If I start to write down like, ooh, I said I was going to talk about this. Should I talk about this? Anyway, today I also had the most hilarious example of the Sunday scaries from my nephew, and like, it was both cute, but I also related hard. Like, there's something about today because, like, the holiday season's over, and it's like, it begins, like, it technically, it's like every day is a new beginning. And yet, like, it feels like tomorrow, like, really 2026 begins, and there's a part of me that's terrified. There's a part of me that wonders, am I doing the right thing? Can I do the right thing? What is the right thing? But as a Christian who goes to church on Sundays, as a Christian who, other resolution, because I said I was doing it at this time, is I did say I was going to go to TMP. Every TMP this year, with the exception of the ones that I'm going to miss because I'm traveling, or like deathly ill, and the deathly ill ones that if I'm at that point I'm going to watch online. But to make that tracking log, which obviously will mean that this is going to be pushed later. Oh, actually, technically speaking, it might just mean that I'm going to start recording them in the car because my day, anyway. Natural flow. Let my brain and my thoughts just flow. Yeah, this day has made me think a lot about what this is, what this year is going to be. Holy Spirit, join me as I go through this in your presence. I'll figure it out. Other thing to note, I made a playlist of world worship because I coincidentally found a Japanese worship band. And I realized that, because it is the end times and we're going to heaven soon. And I will talk about my husband or lack thereof in this midst of end times. What would heaven look like? And I think heaven will look like, and I only say this because we read Genesis recently and the Tower of Babel and the potential of people staying when we're supposed to disperse. There is a part of my calling that I think I need to work through, like trusting God with, and not just me, where like this year I really want to engage and listen to worship music and how people worship in different languages that I don't know how to speak, and the ones I do know how to speak, which are 3, but just really engage in just hearing how the world worships him, just hearing how I can contribute to that side of things, drawing near and helping others draw near. Yeah, and then as I get better in figuring out how to do this, see how this develops. Currently, my setup that I've done 2 days in a row, which I think I like the most, is IKEA kids chair sitting on the couch in the living room. But it might change because I don't have a mic, so I don't know how I sound. But lighting's amazing. But there's no makeup, and I'm a bit self-conscious about my looks. But yeah, we'll figure it out. But for now, and in 30 minutes there is a prayer meeting that I'm going to join. So that's another event. But still, the day is over. The day is done. The events and the stuff I want to talk about that encapsulate today. A day in the life of a Christian. There's other stuff. There's other stuff I want to talk about, but I'm not going to. Or I'm going to touch on it. I actually was going to start recording earlier, but I got into this text conversation with someone who's going through a hard time, and it just made me realize that without like forcing it, I need to know more of God. I need to know more of God so that in my prayers, but also in my words, I am speaking Jesus. Like that song says, I speak Jesus. And I think that's where the research comes in. That's where the study comes in. That's where engaging in his word comes in. So it's not me, but it's really I'm speaking Jesus. And I need to find that balance of letting him guide my actions versus my efforts. Because faith, works of faith, has to be one thing. I'm giving myself a headache because I know what I mean, but I don't know how to express it. But I hope that future me, when I see this, or some stranger that sees this, knows what I mean. Because I know what I mean, but I don't know what I mean. But yeah, that's why I was delayed. I was delayed because of this message, and I think that's the other thing I want to talk about as a Christian. You will never say the right thing. No matter how much you think you will never say the right thing. The only thing you can say is, or do, is really pray and talk to God about it. Not just like absolve any responsibility, but any of the subsequent actions and prayers that you take are rooted in him, and Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, and not you. All right, that's it for now. Have a great week. See you tomorrow.